Yes, we're eating on the because this is it's somewhat of a.
Oh, we're recording?
Yeah, we're recording, bro.
Wow. Well,
sorry about that.
Hi.
Dave's eating some snacks.
Thanks for joining us here on the Low Fat Podcast, Mini-Teen Edition
and Mini Snack Edition.
Mm-hmm. So before we were recording, we started talking about the commies or communists.
Ting ting ting. We really need a bell.
And how Matt thought that certain people that he knew fell on that side of the spectrum.
A lot of them people I know.
But then I got confused because these people are also people that like to spend money. Lots of money.
Very much so.
And so I was like, how can you be a communist and like capitalism?
Well, they wouldn't call themselves communists.
But then there's the Chinese government, right? The Communist Party. They're communists, but they're capitalists.
That just don't make sense to me. But no, they wouldn't call themselves communists. They'd say, I'm for socialism.
Isn't that the same thing, though?
This is, again, a debate I had with a friend of mine last week. And she was like, no, socialism and communism's different.
Was she able to tell you how?
No. Once we started getting into it, she was kind of like, oh, I would have to kind of look it up a little more. Which is, she was being honest, because she kind of didn't, when I started saying, well, have you heard of the National Socialists? And, you know, like I was like, you do realize that socialism is like part of the title of a lot of communist organizations and like historical, right? And she was like, no, I didn't know that.
Well then, okay.
So,
I mean, if you want to get technical about it, yes, communism and socialism means that the government controls all the means of production in a country.
Right.
So,
wait, okay.
All the business, all the industry, all the property is owned by the state.
So media as well, like news
everything
organizations
is owned by the state.
Okay. Under communism and socialism?
Well, generally under communist governments, but the whole thing, socialism, communism, means that the government owns all the means of production.
Okay.
So there is no private industry.
So a country like New Zealand then is not. It's like there's some socialism in New Zealand, but there's private companies, but there's also government-owned companies. So what would you call that, a hybrid?
I guess that's what it would have to be, right?
You know, the state-owned enterprises.
But the only reason why they do that is because...
The SOEs.
I don't know what that means, and I don't care.
State-owned enterprise.
I just told you something, and you blatantly disregarded what I said. But that's okay, because I don't care. Yeah, but I think most governments realize that having the government own all the means of production would not be a way to go. So, you know.
So what do you call that, though? I mean, that's capitalism. There's capitalism. So in that kind of scenario, you've got some capitalistic stuff going on, plus some socialistic stuff going on.
What do I call that? I call it opportunistic behavior is what I call it.
But what do you call that regime, though?
Opportunistic.
Okay.
They want to stay in power.
Okay.
I can stay in power by letting this happen.
Right.
So, you know,
only to a certain extent, right?
Well, I don't think that ideological purity is a necessity in life.
Well, there's a lot of communists that would probably disagree with you on that point.
And those communists, if ever they come to power, get killed by the opportunistic ones that are in their party. I can think of one in particular.
Is this a historical example?
Yes. Leon Trotsky.
Oh yeah, he was more of an
ideological purist to communism, socialism, than
Stalin.
Joseph. I don't know what his real last name was.
I can't remember.
I can't either. But you know, Leon, whatever Leon, he got offed in Mexico City. So there you go.
So they tracked him down and assassinated him?
Not they.
What do you mean, not they?
They were the state that was controlled by Papa Joe.
So he could, yeah. So it doesn't really make sense to be an ideological purist then.
I don't think that any kind of purity, A, is either achievable or good. I mean, because we're complementary beings, species-wise, looking for ideological purity or like looking for ethnic purity.
Right.
Not very good.
Wait. Why not?
Well, I know I just changed the subject, but from a biological standpoint, supposedly, right? If you just have...
Oh, it's better to have a mix.
Yeah. I mean, look at those poor bulldogs. They don't look like they did back in the old days when they were actually bull-baiting dogs.
That's true. It's a very, very different shaped dog.
And then, the Dalmatians that can't hear anything.
German Shepherds have had problems. All the purebreds have issues.
So, I mean, if you're looking for ethnic purity, you're just going to end up with a whole bunch of relationship taboos getting broken. Because your pool's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, with ideological purity, I mean, I don't see how that, as a parallel, I don't see how that is very helpful for anybody to sit there and think one thing only. Which made me now just think of The Hunt for Red October, but that's okay.
One thing only?
Yes.
The Russian with the Scottish accent.
Vasily, give me one ping.
He always gets away with doing a frickin' Scottish accent, whatever he's playing.
Well, it's probably because he can't speak in any other accents.
And in frickin' Highlander, he was supposed to be a Spaniard, and he still had a Scottish accent.
Wasn't he supposed to be an Egyptian?
Oh, yeah.
A Spaniard?
But then he had a Scottish accent.
That's okay. So what were we talking about? Yeah. How can a communist be a capitalist? I don't understand.
You don't understand why they can't?
Well, I think it's because they have no... Well, maybe I just answered my own question. Number one, they don't know what it is. And, maybe the term has changed. I thought racism meant one thing, and it turns out it doesn't mean what I thought at all.
So communism can be this, hybrid thing?
I think communists and socialists are not meaning what they used to mean. Mainly because there's actually plenty of communist and socialist societies out there, but no one's paying them any mind.
So would you call America a socialist society?
America?
Yeah.
No.
But there's plenty of socialists here.
There's plenty of people that identify as socialists, but I say that those people that identify as socialists has no idea what socialism is or what it means.
No, there's people that call themselves socialists.
Isn't that what I just said? I said there are plenty of people that identify as socialists that don't know what socialist means.
Right. In other words, yeah.
I mean, okay, Bernie Sanders calls himself socialist. I don't see how a socialist can make all that money.
Well, that's just, not addressed. It's never addressed.
Well, sure it is. He's like, well, you should go out and make the money if you can, too. But if you're a socialist, you don't want anyone to make any money.
That's not true, though, either. That's a lie.
Right, because if you're the guy at the top in a socialist regime, then only you make the money.
So you really want to be the guy at the top?
Well, you want to be a socialist government, socialist communist government. Yes, you particularly want to be in the inner circle because they're the only ones that get any of the perks.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to be a worker. It seems like the workers have a hard time under communism.
Well, everyone who isn't on the inside has a hard time. And that's all the time
that we have
for today. Thank you for joining us in our continued mini-teen adventures.
It's a gosh darn marathon.